Hi folks! Today we're going to take a look at a pair of activities that involve Newton's laws of motion. Both of these activities use our 3D printed modular carts that we saw in the last video when we investigated how bumper design can affect the peak force. In the first activity, students are going to be given modeling dough and a little seat compartment to create a passenger that either is wearing or not wearing a seatbelt, and we're going to see what happens when they come to a stop. In the second activity, we're going to investigate Newton's second law of motion, the relationship between mass and acceleration on force. And we're going to be adding or removing mass to the carts and seeing how the acceleration of the cart changes. If you'd like to 3D print these things on your own, you can find links to the files in the description. Let's get started. We began with a few simple demonstrations of Newton's first law of motion. In this activity, we are exploring how objects in motion stay in motion, but we should also demonstrate how objects at rest tend to stay at rest. Since this activity involves vehicles, I demonstrated this principle using a whiplash scenario, in which a passenger's head appears to snap backward during a sudden acceleration. In reality, the head remains at rest while the rest of the body accelerates forwards, another clear example of Newton's first law in action. For the activity, we used our modular cars and created figurines out of modeling dough. Students placed their figures into the compartments we designed, complete with pedals, a shifter, and a steering wheel. Then, we rolled the cars down a steep incline to give them some momentum, and, unsurprisingly, the passengers stayed in motion. I related this as to why it's so dangerous to stand up on a moving school bus, not just in the case of a sudden stop, but also when the bus suddenly picks up speed or turns. All three cases are accelerations, which change the object's motion. There isn't enough friction between you and the floor, or in this case, between the passenger and their seat, to resist a change in motion. Next, we buckled our figures up with a seatbelt. The seatbelt is adjustable and includes both a lap belt and a shoulder harness. Once secured, we made sure it would not come loose by tucking it under the driver's compartment. Some tape here is also recommended. The seatbelt holds the passenger back by applying a force in the opposite direction of their motion, demonstrating Newton's third law. In my racing days, I've had some nasty accidents, and it's not unheard of for a seatbelt to crack ribs in a very serious crash. But imagine how much worse those crashes would be if your body hit the steering wheel or the dashboard instead. Remember, suddenly becoming stationary is what you want to avoid at all costs, and in a collision, those are objects that do not give at all. For the second investigation, we swapped out the driver compartment for a weight sled to explore Newton's second law. This is a classic physics demonstration, showing that acceleration depends upon mass. In all trials, we used a 200-gram mass attached to a string, threaded through a drilled hole in the front bumper from our previous activity. According to the second law, increasing the car's mass decreases its acceleration. We established a control by having one car run without any additional weight, resulting in a rapid acceleration and a violent impact with the pulley. Then we added a 100-gram mass and immediately saw a difference. Adding 200 grams further reduced the acceleration, and with a 500-gram mass in the largest sled, the car barely moved at all. We also investigated how friction affects the rate of acceleration by trying the cars on different surfaces. In the next video, we're going to investigate the transformation of potential energy into kinetic and kinetic energy into thermal energy as we convert these cars to run off of mousetraps. Hope you enjoyed the ride. Don't forget to like and subscribe.